Folks, it's that time of day. Yeah, 6 p.m. Welcome to the City of Gonzales Council meeting for February 18th, 2025. Ms. Orozco, would you be so kind as to lead us in the
Yes.
flags? Pledge of Allegiance.
Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mary, could we please have roll call?
Mayor Pro Tem Liz Silva,
Present.
Councilmember Scott Funk,
Present.
Councilmember Lorraine Worthy,
Present.
Councilmember Maria Orozco,
Present.
and Mayor Jose Rios.
Present. All right, moving on the agenda, our first order of items is the presentations. We have 3 of them this evening. First one is by Blue Zones.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. I'm very glad to be here. I'm Kendra Howell. I'm one of the policy leads on Blue Zones project, and I'm also joined with my colleagues Dalila Alvarado and Marcus Pulido. And we'll just be giving you an update on the work towards the Blue Zone certification that you've all been so busy on. Okay. You can actually go to the next slide. Thank you so much. So again, just a quick reminder, the Blue Zones project, when we work with a community, we work around what's called the life radius. So it's all of that space and places and the people that we engage with on a regular basis, and how do we affect change there so we can affect positive change for health and wellness. So we call it our 3 Ps. So it's working with people on an individual basis. It's working with all those places where we spend our time, like work sites, school sites, restaurants, grocery stores. And then of course it's working on policy. So those are some of the areas where we can affect lasting change despite changes in a city. So next slide. So all of the communities are moving towards certification. And you may have heard that the city of Salinas was certified last year. They were the first city, of course, that we started working with. But the intent was for the entire county to be certified. And you recall we started working with the city of Gonzales about 3 years ago. And so this timeline just sort of shows how we're moving now towards certification, not only for Gonzales, but really the rest of the communities in the peninsula and countywide. So of course, this first quarter, we're preparing for a site visit from Blue Zones National. So part of the certification is having those national folks come out, meeting with members of city staff, members, stakeholders, leaders in the community, learning about the work that was done. So for example, we're already planning a tour with the national staff to look at the beautiful community garden that you've got going. So right now we're in that planning stage. The site visit will take place May 5th through the 9th. So again, we'll be working with city leadership on scheduling meetings and tours of the things that you've been working on, meeting with some of the stakeholders from the businesses, the schools and things like that. So we're moving towards that visit by the national staff. Then they go through some evaluation and reporting, and ideally we'll have notification that the city of Gonzales was certified by this summer, and then we'll be planning some community celebration events, and we're definitely looking forward to that. Next slide. So the way we work with a community on the project is by setting goals in all of the different 3 P areas that I mentioned earlier. So again, what is our goal for getting schools approved? What is our goal for individual engagement, restaurants, work sites? So you can see here, the work sites include some, I mistakenly included King City in there, but you can see Gonzales has 3 work sites already approved. We do have opportunity for a couple more, and Marcus can update you on that. You're looking fantastic. I mean, you look at that engagement, it's over 100%. We certainly have all schools approved to meet certification goals, restaurants. Policy has been a great lift, and we couldn't have done it without the support of city staff. There are a couple areas though in policy that we want to help get you over the finish line on. And I'll be able to tell you a little bit more about that right now. So with that, we'll go to the next slide. So those two policy areas where there's opportunities, the first is in tobacco policy. And, we've done a lot of great work with engaging the youth, doing a lot of outreach, kind of doing promotion and education. We create the no smoking and vaping signs that all of our approved organizations, restaurants and whatnot can post. But there is a requirement for one more policy for certification. So we're actually recommending that City Council update your existing tobacco retail licensing ordinance to match the counties. And we can work with the Monterey County Health Department to make it easier on staff. We can work with the health department to create that draft. Staff can review and then ideally bring it to you for consideration. It's a very easy update, but the county's retail license is actually stronger than what was recently passed at the state level for a flavor ban, because the county's tobacco ordinance includes single-use e-cigarettes. It includes flavored pipe tobacco. It includes flavored premium cigars, and it also includes hookah tobacco. So those are all things that were not included in the state's proposition that we all passed as voters in 2022. So again, we make that recommendation that it will be a fairly straightforward update, and we're happy to work with the health department on that and make it easier for staff. So the next opportunity is in built environment. Oh, sorry. Thank you so much. So you've done some fantastic projects around all of your built environment work. Some of the validations that you've already seen are certainly the Safe Routes to School work. I know that you just adopted the plan at your meeting last month. I know that TAMC is providing funding for some really great improvements. The community garden space that we mentioned, that's your city's marquee project for Blue Zones. So there is one more opportunity for certification around that built environment. And we as Blue Zones, and I will personally continue to review your past and future public works projects, because I think that there's a lot of stuff that you've already been doing and that you certainly have planned that we could just put together as validation and measure for you. So next slide. So I think with that, I'll turn it over to my colleague Marcus, and he can update you on schools and work sites.
Good afternoon. My name is Marcus Pulido, and I am the worksite lead for the Blue Zones Project South Monterey County team. Although I'm the worksite lead, I am very happy to share the good work that's been done around the county with regard to schools. So to date, we do have 63 total schools in our network of Blue Zones Project approved sites. And what does that mean per se? Well, generally just means that we work in collaboration with schools to provide resources to enhance the learning environment of our children, to make sure that we are actively engaging the children to foster a sense of health and wellness in the learning environment. Here specifically in Gonzales, Gonzales High School, La Gloria Elementary, and Fairview Middle School are all approved schools. So in collaboration with organizations such as TAMC, the Health Department, and Ecology Action, we've been able to bring some events together like a walking school bus, which help us promote natural movement with the children and also fostering a sense of community at a young age. We've also been able to partner with organizations such as Brighter Bites, which allowed us to provide fresh produce to families and make it super accessible so that the nutritional and healthy choice is that much easier and more families have the access to it overall. For now, our recommendation when it comes to sustaining these efforts and ensuring that health and wellness plays a pivotal role in the foreseeable future for schools in Gonzales, we recommend that Gonzales as a school district would become an approved worksite. So that would increase alignment and ensure that information is disseminated down to all the schools and create that unity when it comes to fostering a culture of health and wellness for the foreseeable future. Next slide. Now, this is where my expertise is in. So I do work with the work sites in the South Monterey County. As of right now, we do have 65 approved work sites. Here in Gonzales, we have Braga Fresh Foods, Taylor Farms, and the Taylor Farms Family Health and Wellness Clinic. When a work site becomes a Blue Zones approved work sites, it shows a commitment to your employees when it comes to fostering that sense of health and wellness and committing to enhancing the day-to-day life of employees, increasing productivity and increasing just health and wellness altogether. The average American in the States spends about 40 to 60% of their week at the workplace. And although many of environmental factors are hard to control, since large-scale organizations have very deep pockets and are able to promote food choices, it contributes to over 250 different food choices that you have to make every single day. So in an effort to control that and to make the healthier choice a little bit easier, we ask work sites to become Blue Zones approved and make that healthier choice that much easier, so that when you're at work, you don't really have to make that conscious effort to make that healthy decision. It's just easy, it's accessible. We have a 1-to-1 ratio, so we're not taking away choice, we're just making it accessible. And it's our effort to fight against the prevalence of type 2 diabetes, which is at over a 50% rate here in the Monterey County, and cardiovascular disease, which is anywhere from 30 to 40% throughout the Monterey County as a whole. So as I mentioned before, these 3 work sites that have made that effort to go ahead and collaborate with the Blue Zones project has allowed us to uniquely and actively engage with over 900 employees here specifically in Gonzales, and that number is just continuing to grow. So as we continue, and one of the big words that we really hone in on is that sustainability. So how is our work going to continue for the foreseeable future? Is we recommend that the city of Gonzales themselves would become Blue Zones project approved as well. The city of Gonzales has already been very active in collaborating with us in our efforts and has been very supportive. And we believe that by becoming Blue Zones project approved, it really creates much more alignment and allows our network to grow stronger, especially in this municipality, so that for the foreseeable future, we can live longer, healthier, and happier lives throughout the community. Thank you. And I'll go ahead and pass it over to my colleague, Dalila.
Thank you, Marcus. Go ahead and go next slide. So my name is Dalila. Nice to see you all again. I'm the food environment lead for Blue Zones, specifically South County. I'm happy to report that nearly 60 restaurants throughout Monterey County are Blue Zones approved, along with 12 grocery stores. And in Gonzales specifically, we have our 2 restaurants that are Blue Zones approved, La Plaza Bakery and Luigi's. So what does this mean? It means that these restaurants have done specific environmental changes to create healthier environment for their customers. Specifically, what makes the biggest difference is the menu. So both of these restaurants, whenever you want to have like that plant-based option, a healthier alternative, you can call it in or stop by and request a Blue Zones menu, or just ask for any vegetarian or plant-based options. Luigi's also has a really great hummus platter, so it's really great for takeout. We're actually working on a catering and takeout guide as well, which we will share with all of you, that has all of our Blue Zones approved restaurants throughout Monterey County. That way, whenever you guys have, you know, a meeting or a celebration or an event like that, you guys can just look through that menu and then order from there. But yeah, really happy that we have our restaurants approved here in Gonzales. Go ahead and go to the next slide. A lot of the work that I have been really happy to work in with regards to food policy, I'm really happy that has impacted Gonzales specifically. Right now, we have a really great program with California Alliance for Family Farms, called Farms Together program. We have collaborated with the city of Gonzales, Taylor Farms Family Health and Wellness Clinic, and Savor the Local, which is also a local company from Gonzales residents. So it's a really great collaboration that we have, where we are distributing 218 produce boxes weekly here in Gonzales, with most of them being passed out in Central Park, about 160 boxes, and then the rest of them are being distributed at the clinic. So this program is really great because it addresses food insecurity. So any person that has need is welcome to line up and receive that produce box. And again, it's all local from local farmers a lot of it is organic as well. And again, it's just a really great program to help reduce the food insecurity, which I know is really, or we all know, right, that a lot of our community and residents are impacted by. And we're really happy to also share that the program got extended to carry us throughout to July 25th. So it'll be really nice to have that continuation of the program. Something else that has been really great is the community partnership that we have had to create the community garden. Just like Kendra mentioned earlier, it's been a partnership with the City of Gonzales, with Save the Whales, and the Resource Conservation District of Monterey County, as well as with Blue Zones Project and Wings of Knowledge. So it's been an ongoing project. We actually were out there last week, and right now we have a memorandum of agreement with the RCD to help create a pollinator garden. So if you guys drive out there, you guys see there's like cardboard and a lot of wood chips and stuff like that. And it's going to be ongoing because it's being prepared to create a really beautiful pollinator garden. That way in the next coming months, there will be plants, you know, and flowers that are going to be blooming. So I know it looks, you know, a little bit, well, not done right now, but it'll look really great in the future. There's also a nice orchard with different fruit trees that are planted there. And there's also produce that's already growing. So something that we really want to create with this space is just that community ownership. So this is also a call to action on my behalf. You know, if any community member is interested in participating in this space, wants to take any sort of leadership, we really want the community to feel like this is their space because it is for them. So if anyone knows of anyone, please like reach out to Jessica, to any of the organizations that are working on the project, because we really want this garden to be used for the community for years to come. So the space is there. There's already produce growing there. So if anyone wants to stop by and pick up, you know, pick anything, they're welcome to do so. Something else that has that I think or envision this space to also continue with sustainability is the involvement with the schools. So I know Amanda from Save the Whales works with the local school, and they've been taking the kids out there to do pollinator activities. So that is one of the sites that we'll be visiting for our Blue Zones site visit in May. And we are really happy and excited for the future for the community space garden. And having said that, I'll go ahead and pass it over to Kendra.
Thank you. One more slide, and it's really just to wrap up. This is a snapshot really of our numbers for Monterey County. So the project again kicked off in Salinas in 2019, and we've just been really thrilled with all of the connections we've made countywide, and it's really been a pleasure to work with the City of Gonzales. So with that, I will end the presentation. Thank you so much for your time tonight, and happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone from the council have any questions?
Mayor, before you go to questions from the council, can I just add, we'd be remiss not to also thank Blue Zones for all the chair yoga and Zumba and different activities that they've sponsored here in the community that contribute to this whole picture of us being on the road to certification.
Thank you. Thank you for reminding me. And I believe some of our members actually take advantage of that.
Yeah.
So
we do.
maybe you can add.
We'll drag her back here pretty
Okay.
soon.
So if there's no other questions.
It wasn't
from-
there.
I do.
Oh,
I do.
okay, sorry.
That's okay. I'll wait. I'm patient.
Hit me.
Great presentation, everyone. I have a question. I think it's for Marcus for the work sites. You mentioned there was like a little over 900 employees that are participating. Does that also include some of the smaller businesses like the bakery, like Luigi's?
As of right now, no, this is actually just engagement from our active participating work sites, which would just be Braga Fresh, Taylor Farms, and then the Taylor Farms Clinic. So although it's only those three, we do have so much more engagement in Gonzales itself. But for the purpose of that slide, it was just those three work sites right now.
Thank you.
Question.
Question with regards to the pollinator garden, because it's just down the street from my house. Is there also plans, I mean, could you have a pollinator garden there for the purpose of bringing, I guess, bees and they make honey? Is there any plans to put it, the beehives out there or close by to collect?
Not that I know of, but it's a really great question that we can relay to our partner, the RCD. So they're the experts on this, and we are so happy that they are taking, the leadership on this. Because I mean, I'm not a garden expert, but that's a really great question that we can ask her. But yeah, the goal to create a pollinator garden is to kind of just bring those native plants, back to the area, as well as creating, that space to have the bees and all the pollinators, that way we get more fruits.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're
And great job, Kendra. I've been taking advantage of the chair yoga that's been offered at Taylor. And haven't been able to get to a cooking class or an art class yet, but thank you for all you do to support our residents and make these kinds of programs available.
Thank you. We have a really fantastic team and we're really proud to work with the city.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, next up is students, opportunity and achievement, rising, SOAR. And the intent is mapping. So is or student? Oh, okay. I was wondering who was.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Jessica Olmedo, one of the two Gonzales Youth Council advisors. Cindy Aguilar, my co-advisor, is also here. And I just wanted to go ahead and provide some brief context before I turn it over to Valeria and Emily for them to present their SOAR presentation. So in September of last year, the Gonzales Youth Council, along with other youth councils representing Chispa, Soledad, and Greenfield, came together to implement a youth participatory action project, research project. The project meetings were led by Dr. Jennifer Lovell and Rosemary Soto, as well as Michelle Slade from C4 Consulting. Through a partnership with the Salinas Valley Five Cities Rising initiative, and funding efforts were put forward through the Wallace Foundation and Hartnell Foundation to grant each city $10,000 towards the youth. And that would also include the stipends that the youth commissioners would be granted. The Salinas Valley Five Cities Rising is a partnership that supports the leadership and vision for the region to connect workforce development efforts for our youth. And in terms of next steps, they are planning to use their research to inform the theme for their second annual South County Youth Summit, and hoping to bring workshop development resources and additional opportunities to their communities. Thank you.
Thank you.
So good evening, Council. Again, it's Emily Mendez, this year's UIC Commissioner, alongside myself, Ms. Valeria Cardenas. And today we'll be presenting on the Student Opportunity Achieving Rising SOAR Asset Mapping Project.
okay. So a little bit about us. We wanted to say welcome to the SOAR Asset Mapping Project. Our project is held at the Community Asset Mapping to find more about career pathways for youth in the city of Gonzales. We created a survey to get insight on youth experiences and assets they have and need in their in our community, with the goal to uplift our youth voices while collaborating cross sectors such as government, education, and business to improve conditions in areas like workforce readiness, education, housing, healthcare, and more. And in correlation with other cities such as Soledad, Greenfield, Salinas, and Castroville. And for we put the image for Salinas Valley's rising. Next slide, please.
A little bit more on our roles as ambassadors within the project. So Valeria and I were ambassadors of the SOAR Asset Mapping Project, and our goal was to identify resources that support workforce readiness and youth development in Monterey County. We also were in the works of like map resources, identifying gaps, and recommending solutions regarding economic mobility and career opportunities for local youth.
And for a little bit of our outreach initiative and how we got the word out, we thought it'd be important to share how we created a survey specifically to collect our data.
The survey had a multitude, I believe, of 20 questions and 20 to 25 questions in total about demographics and also general background questions that we'll go over through the slides. It was spread out via social media through all the schools, and we had collaborated with the principals at the Gonzalez High School to have an incentive of students reducing their absences or tardies if they complete the survey. So this was mostly a social media campaign, but also it was throughout the school mentioned and localized. Next slide, please. And so the survey results.
A little bit more on the survey. We took demographics on the students, learning more about their background. So on the left, we have the bar graph, which displays on the parents for the students their highest level of education, with a high 25 of the people who filled out the survey. Their parents either had a high school diploma or no high school diploma, but also most of the students are first generation in our community, as our results also display that the lower side of the bar graph is with actual college diploma. Also on the right, where you see the pie graph, is also the statistics of the students that actually took the survey, being a 72.9% being JHS seniors and juniors, a 25.7% being freshmen and sophomores, and then a 1.4% being the middle school.
And for some of the students' future plans, we had asked students what they were planning to do after high school or any career paths. And majority of students, for 39 students, responded with they would pursue further education, either being a 2-year community college and then transferring or going straight to a 4-year. 26 applicants said they were not sure on specifically their plans, where they deemed they were still exploring options. And 4 applicants said that they would consider doing both workforce and also education right after high school, and 1 applicant said they'd be going straight to the workforce right after high school. And on another side, we put comments of these students, how they responded. Oh, sorry. And right, for examples of what students were saying, they were saying, one student said, I am planning on going to community college after high school and then transfer to a university. A second student said, I plan to go to college and work at the same time. And another student said straight to college and then transfer to a UC for less cost for doing all 4 years.
And more with graphs and charts and everything, but more questions on the survey was, where do you go to get help with exploring careers and building skills? On the pie chart, we see a majority mentioned EEOP as a resource, being a 33.7%. As I was going through the data, I saw a lot of EEOP and Miss Kristen, which was very nice to see, as I also know Miss Kristen. Another side that was mentioned, which is the purple, is the mentors, which is a 32.6%. Again, some being listed as Miss Kristen, most in the English department, but also in the science department. Also, other programs that were mentioned are ETS, which is a 10.1%. ETS is the Educational Talent Search. Skills USA being 1.1%. Workshops being 6.7%, and other programs being 6.7% as well. A 4.5% mentioned that they are not getting the resources that they need. On the other side, we see another bar graph, which the salmon orange kind of color is how supported are you with these resources. Most voting a 3 out of 5, being 32. And then also 18 also voted a 4 out of 5. So we see most of the data was a 3, ranging to a 3 to 4 out of 5 for that question. And then for the purple color, how well prepared do you feel pursuing your dreams after high school? Again, 28 voted a 3 out of 5, and 22 voted at a 4 out of 5. So again, it's ranging from 3 to 4 out of 5 for these questions.
And for the following questions, we asked students, what barriers do you believe you face in your career preparation as a student of Gonzalez High and or Fairview Middle School? And for a majority of applicants with 19 responses, they said they had the lack of education and career readiness. And for
believing that they feel they have lack of resources within those areas. And also with 15 responses, the people were unsure of if where they were lacking in. But other notable areas with 11 responses was lack of personal support. So the mentorship is really a key factor within students for the preparation. Other of these factors were also the teacher shortage, lack of mental health support, a small community, lack of events, language barriers, and also lack of inspiration. And moving forward with what ideas do you have for career preparation resources? Sorry? To be helpful for students. And for our top responses was careers insight and prep workshops. Students really mentioned how these workshops and hands-on activities were really helpful for them to feel more prepared with these resources. And the second option that was with a lot of responses was the EAOP program, which is a very popular program set at the high school that helps students with college preparation and also financial aid. They also do tutoring for students and have other basic needs, but they're very common, very active with the students with frequent activities also for adults, as in parents. Other of these activities that were really notable were some specifically like internships, more mentorship opportunities, online prep courses offered at the high school or being notified to students. Also having programs like the driver's licensing program was also mentioned to be a key something students would really like to mention, have implemented into the high school for students, and as well as networking events and financial workshops, and college and educational prep programs being more diverse within the school. I will pass it down to Miss Emily if you want to add more.
Thank you. And again, just looking over the ideas, when we're brainstorming these ideas, Valeria and I actually attended meetings, usually on Saturdays, just to give you guys a background. So throughout this process, Valeria and I would attend meetings, attend Zoom calls, work on our own time to get this data. And when Valeria and I were analyzing as a group, most of the community members mentioned like an Adulting 101 resource where you learn about financial literacy, how to drive, how to cook, especially because of our students who, especially like me and Valeria, seniors, are going to go out to the fresh new world, and we're like, what do we do? How do we do this? Especially as becoming an adult. I feel like that was really mentioned, and I feel like that would be a great resources. So connecting to all the mentorship, all the trade school enhancement, overall education programs. A lot of our students wanted financial literacy, driving, but overall anything regarding adulting.
And that concludes our presentation on our data. We'll be open to any questions or comments.
Thank you. Council?
Thank you for the information. Great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
much appreciated. Thank
Real
you.
good. Any questions for the go? No?
So what's next steps?
For next steps, we'll be using our funding and also this data to kind of establish workshops for the upcoming South County Youth Summit. So with that data, we hope to kind of build in those workshops that we're planning to implement. So for example, the Adulting 101, career education, those were our top hits for what we want to see at the summit.
Great. Thank you.
Awesome.
Sounds like you
Excellent.
guys are down on the right path. Thank you. All right, next presentation on the agenda is citywide transportation overview. Ah, okay.
Mayor Rios, council members. Can you go slot full? Great, thanks. So yeah, this is a presentation on several items related to city streets. And really, it's three main topics. Resident requests to install traffic control measures to address unsafe driving. The second one is upcoming safety efforts, the projects. And then the last one is planned street rehabilitation projects. So next slide. So this is the outline. I covered a lot of this. We don't need to read it again, but it includes the safe routes to school improvements along Fifth Street. So let's go to the next slide. And so unsafe driver behavior, and that's kind of what compelled this presentation, is we had in the last, well, let's just say since the first of the year, 2 residents request that we look look at and consider installing traffic control measures on the streets by their house to address unsafe driving. And I believe both of them are here and they'd like to address the council at the conclusion of this presentation. So unsafe driver, and basically what you're looking at is this is the current approach at City Hall when a resident contacts us. And so, we hear from a resident, either they come to the front counter or they call, they email, however, and they're reporting inappropriate driver behavior. Generally, it's speeding, and it's, of course, generally residents also in their neighborhood who know the streets very, very well. And the second item, and you can see is, concerns about excessive speed, unsafe driving. And the next step in, when I receive these, I basically discuss this with Police Chief Wise, and of course loop City Manager Carmen into this. And so this is what we're hearing, and asking police, can they monitor and consider any traffic enforcement out there specific to that location. Public Works staff visit the site, determine if what are the traffic measures to install. And then lastly, discuss the outcome with the residents. So that's what we have right now. Let's jump to the next slide. So as I guess the phrase over the last 15 or 20 years has been traffic calming. How do we slow vehicles down that are, generally, racing through the city streets? And so, traffic calming is basically, looking at the physical design of the street and installing measures. And this can be, and I say it, I guess, in item number 3 is striping treatments. But before I jump, so there's the 3 E's. And this is a long-time traffic engineering phrase: the education, enforcement, and engineering. So education is basically what? Informing the community, putting up, the radar, the speed radar feedback signs. And the one at North Alta is out for repair right now, if you've noticed. And so that's education. And then enforcement, and you can figure out what that is looping the police department into addressing concerns expressed by the residents, monitoring, and traffic enforcement. And then engineering is, so what can we do on this street? Is it striping? Is it speed humps? What are the physical devices that we can put out there? So the third item, there's a toolkit for traffic calming, and it includes striping treatments. And so one of the interesting comments or interesting outcomes of the Alta Street project when it was reconstructed about 8 years ago is we had a radar speed survey before the project and a radar speed survey after the project, and we narrowed the lanes with the stripes from 12 feet wide to 11 feet. And through the radar speed survey, it actually resulted in a 5 mile an hour decrease because we narrow the lane and, motorists slow down because of that. And I was told of an anecdotal story that a coworker was talking to somebody and was like, I don't know why, but I'm realizing I'm driving slower on Alta Street. And it's like, yes, because we narrowed the striped lane. So something as simple as striping can have a positive impact on this. So you can see, intersection bulb outs, that'll be one of the things that we'll be looking at regarding the, the Safe Routes to School project on 5th Street from the US 101 southbound on and off ramps to the edge of the community center is, the point of a bulb out is to, decrease the amount of time the pedestrian is out in the street, and it gives them a refuge on each side. And hopefully the cars have better sight on both ends. Let's see. I talk in item 4, I talk about other cities' programs regarding traffic calming. And so cities that have a traffic engineering section, and I'm highlighting the city of Monterey, and I reached out to them, and they've had traffic calming plans for, almost 20 years. And really what I want to highlight with the city of Monterey is you need to look at the whole neighborhood, not just what's happening in front of the resident's home or on that certain block. Because if you put these devices in, could it have a potential to direct traffic somewhere else and cause a negative impact on another street? So we need to look at the back up and look at the surrounding streets. So the last item on here is while we have our list of what we do is that for the Public Works Department to basically create, a traffic calming checklist and a process. And one of the points there is that, in talking to one of the residents that's going to come before you is, we want to look at, we don't just put these things in, we want to inform the neighborhood and, do we ask for a petition that people sign saying supporting this, so it's not just surprising them. So that would be something that would be included in a traffic calming checklist. Let's jump to the next slide. So now let's see. So upcoming pedestrian safety, as just mentioned, we have the Safe Routes to School project that came out of the resident steering committee that concluded, I believe, last May or June. We have $250,000 of funding, and I'm engaging a consultant to basically what can we do in that area between the US 101 southbound on and off ramps and the eastern edge of the community center project. Are we going to, looking at bulb outs on Rincon, and also addressing on the north side of Fifth Street at Rincon, where it's kind of a funky, where there's the crosswalk, but actually the stop bar is out further in the street so that the cars can see it. We need to, address both sides of that intersection. We have 2.5 years to spend that money. And I guess the other important highlight on this is that how do we do that in conjunction with the paving that's supposed to take place in front of the community center, which is actually a bit of a challenge. So let's do as much work as we can in one fell swoop because of the need to do traffic control and things of that nature. So then the second bullet you can see is Vision Zero. And that's, a national effort to look at eliminating traffic fatalities and improving pedestrian safety. This is something that TAMSI's taking on. They approved a consultant contract at their December board meeting. It was presented at last week's TAC meeting, and the consultant is getting underway on it. And basically they're asking, all the it's all the cities in Monterey County, except for Monterey and Salinas, because they are already underway on a Vision Zero plan. So you're going to be hearing more about Vision Zero, and I just wanted to highlight it that it's another pedestrian safety effort that's coming. Let's go to the next slide. And so let's see, last slide. So I thought I'd also take this opportunity to talk about our upcoming street rehabilitation projects. And we're going to look at rehabilitating these two blocks of 4th Street. We have the $636,000 in SB1 money. And then look at pavement rehabilitation projects in the assessment districts that have the funding and the need. And so that's Canyon Creek and also the Industrial Business Park. I think this is another project where we'll basically combine them where it makes sense to get the most economy of scale. And right now I'm discussing this scope, fee, and schedule with 2 different design consultants that I selected through an RFP process. So that concludes my presentation, and we have 2 residents that want to address the city council.
Okay. Go ahead and stand at the podium, please.
My name is Pete Maturino, and I reside at 537 Del Monte Drive. Del Monte Drive is between Cielo Vista, which is just, it goes straight into the stadium. That's Cielo Vista. And then it makes a right to Rincon, which is the tightest spot you can dive for cars and dodging them. And there's a lot of mirrors that have gone, I made a complaint because other people complained to me, but and you would think that in that one block, nobody could get that fast, and it does. And this young man, a high school kid, about 3 years ago, approved it right in front of my street. There's a pole where the light is, and he was going so fast that he lost control of the car. And he ended up backwards on top of the telephone pole, just to make a left from Rincon to Cielo Vista, Del Monte Drive. And that's why I made the complaint that we're having more kids. I look at my 10-year-old granddaughter, and they're playing out in the streets and stuff. And I have the sign right on my yard. says 15 miles an hour. And yeah, in high school, I was one of those guys that kind of sped around and stuff, but if it's like the stop sign at the corner of Cielo Vista and to make a right there on Del Monte Drive, there's the only stop sign there. It's one of those deals where either somebody stops, a Hollywood stop, or just a drive-through. There's like if there wasn't a stop sign. And I know those speed bumps work, because I see them in Salinas and I slow down. And because I'm thinking about my car, the balance and the whole thing, but they work. And I gave the Public Works Department a sample of a petition that I put together, and I can pick up the signatures. I don't have the problem doing it. But I think it's something that you guys should consider under the Public Works or however it takes to slow people down. And the only way you're gonna slow them down is because at 3 o'clock, 2:30, whatever it is, to 5 o'clock, everybody knows there's only 2 exits, and Rincon is one of them, and they're coming from my area or on here on 4th Street or 5th Street. I mean, it took you guys, I don't know if it was you guys, but it took the city council of Gonzales quite a few years in the mornings when school is entering, and all that traffic and foot traffic coming from across the bridge to direct traffic and get the cars out faster and stuff. But it's something that I thought of a lot of years ago, but anyway, I'm here to complain about that. They're just going too fast. We need to slow them down. And the only way you're going to slow them down, yeah, education is good. DMV has a book this thick about what you should do, but there's tickets every day. So I'm just saying, you need to do something. And if not, somebody should let me know and I can go ahead and pick up the signatures and stuff. But anyway, thank you. You have a question?
All right.
No?
Anybody?
I saw everybody agreeing though, so.
Because
Gotcha.
I think we all go through it too, Peter.
Yeah.
I mean, even on my street, I live on from this stop sign to that stop sign is 1 block long, and I've got speeders all the time. And like you said, they get to the stop sign, they might slow down or they just keep going towards the Little League field. So I think we all feel your.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but but those 2 streets, that Rincon and 5th, because that's the exit. That's
Another Peter.
where everybody wants to get out.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Jesus Amador, 21 7th Street. We're also having the same issue on 7th Street. There's no stop sign between Belding and 7th Street, and cars coming from Day Street, they just keep going. This time they notice, they're already going 30 miles per hour, and they're just going way too faster there. I sent Public Works a copy of a video where a car literally was going, I'm not lying, like 40 miles per hour. And he went there twice, and I called the police, but they didn't catch him, and we get more of these cars during the night. It's just, it's crazy, people just, we bought those little signs at Home Depot, but nothing works, We're just requesting some type of change because somebody's gonna end up getting hurt or something. It hasn't happened so far, but we need if you need like signatures, if you need more video, I can get you more videos. I mean, we have cameras outdoors. Anything would help to get this, to change this before we stop right there in Bellevue Street and 7th Street. So basically, yeah. So.
Okay, thank you. Any additional questions for Mr. Dobbins? I think that definitely we should start doing something about this. I mean, it's all over town. It's just not specifically to that area. Unfortunately, that area, because 7th Street's a direct feed into the high school as well as Del Monte and the other streets there. It's, like I said, Peter, I'm with you. When I was in high school, I probably tore in there a little faster than I should have.
Yeah. If we could, Mr. Mayor, can we ask staff to bring back a recommendation for those corridors?
I think for literally, there's a number of corridors.
Yeah.
Mr. Funk, and I would, even in your neck of the woods, on Harold Parkway, it's,
Mhm.
it's a raceway. I mean, I've watched those cars go. Cause I do a lot of walking and boy, the Harold Parkway is, zoom. It's definitely not 25 miles an hour on that parkway, and I hate to see what it's out like at night, so. Yes, Mr. Dobbins, you've got clear direction, but I think from the entire council's consensus is that, yes, anything you do to help slow things down would be greatly appreciated. And, let's look at all options.
Great.
I just want to comment that I've also had some residents share their concerns about speeders on Fairhaven. And same thing, just speeding cars. And now we also have the kids who are on their bikes and doing their maneuvers, and so it just continues to be a problem.
Yes.
Just wanted to make mention that it is not a new topic to the council, as you mentioned, Peter. It's something that we have brought up before, and it's like, what do we do? Because we see it in almost every street. Del Monte, Rincon, Vista, those are a few of our narrower streets in town. And like you said, you probably wouldn't think that people would speed, but they do. Doesn't matter how narrow they are. And in the wide streets, it's even worse. Like you just mentioned, Harold Parkway. Well, that's like the Indy 500 straightaway. Yeah. So it is a problem that we're all aware of, and maybe getting some of the community together with staff at some point and say, what are the more critical parts in town that need to be addressed first, and then work that way.
And I know certainly for myself, when traffic was diverted from, we made 4th Street a one-way on, traffic now comes off of Center and makes a right on 3rd Street, and it's only, 2 blocks before you get to the stop sign. But I literally have seen cars almost get on 2 wheels to go around that turn. My poor neighbor across the street actually had to get his bumper replaced because someone took it out, plowed it out. So Peter, trust me, this is not something new to the council, and I totally agree with you. And since Mr. Dobbins is going to be working on it, I assure you have full council support on whatever great ideas you come up with.
Perfect.
Great.
Mayor, if I could just add, we did recently just apply for a mobile radar trailer. The one that PD used to use has long been broken, so we've applied for one through a grant that also includes other efforts. So hopefully we'll get good news on that, because that's something that we can move around town too. I know I slow down when I see it, right, flashing at me. So, I mean, they do help. So hopefully, we get good news on that, and and we can do something where we can actually move it around and folks can come and request it at their neighborhood. That's really the hope.
Any additional comments or questions for staff? And I will move on. Okay. Now we're moving on to comments from the public not on the agenda. Any member of the public may address the council for a period of 3 minutes and address the council. Anything not on the agenda, the council will listen to all comments, but will take no action or make comments. Anyone wishing to speak to the council, now is your time.
Good evening, Mayor Rios and council members. I'm Jeff Morgan.
Sorry.
You tap me.
Mary, can we
That's
please-
it, your time's up. It's been the 3-second rule. Yeah, so is that me?
Sorry.
I'm gonna try that one more time. Maybe if I speak quietly.
That's right.
It's really been an honor to be serving as the new president of CHISPA. And, and in the 36 unit multifamily community you have here at Canyon Creek. We're excited to continue to explore with your excellent staff, with Carmen and Tavin, how Alta Street will work. And so we're coming up with some creative ideas there, and working with Glenn Pace at Vista Lucia. So we're looking forward to seeing how we can help what you've already done to try and keep promises to the residents and build more housing. So I've personally been at it for a little over 20 years, and was in leadership in a community in San Jose, doing nonprofit work, and I'm at your service. I gave you a little bit of information. CHISPA has grown We have 7 senior communities. We have 32 rental communities. We serve 5,000 residents. And so thank you so much. I'm looking forward to seeing what I can do to serve the community. That's it.
Great, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Anyone else? These are gonna have to help me. I can't see anybody. No one rushing to the podium. Okay. All right. Estella, do we have anyone via Zoom?
Yes, Henry
Okay.
Martinez.
Mr. Martinez, you're on.
All right, it's been a while. So let me say, I have 2 police complaint forms here dated December 2nd at 4:41 p.m. We are now, what, 3 months? Almost 4? That I have not heard anything on these 2 complaints. They got brushed under. They got, God knows what happened to them. But nobody got to me about these. I left numerous messages to talk to the city manager, who's never gotten back to me. So something's going on. My second thing is the city of Gonzales is not a sanctuary city. I brought this up numerous times before. And so the residents should know this is not a safe city. The county is, but the city isn't, and the state is as well. But, and also the fourth one I got is California passed Assembly Bill 413 prohibiting parking 20 feet from any marked or unmarked crosswalks. I have not seen the city of Gonzales enforce these. There's still cars parked within 20 feet from these corners, and either the police or the city needs to start striping these corners red. There's a new law that passed this year. So when are we going to start seeing this come into effect? And last thing, my favorite thing, is because I filed these complaints, I picked up 3 more new charges from Gonzales PD. Oh boy, how fun. And I have gotten all the evidence I need to make a joke of the police department, and including the cell phone calls from them saying that there was no warrant, and all this is going to be upheld in court. And that when that comes, the city of Gonzales will be looking at a massive lawsuit, and the first one should be coming in soon. So get ready, because here I come.
I'm assuming he's done. Yep, okay.
He's done.
Stella, anybody else on Zoom?
No one else via Zoom.
Thank you. Mary, any email correspondence?
No comments via email.
Thank you very much. Okay, then we'll go ahead and close the public comment period and bring it back for council work here. So the only item on our council agenda really is the consent agenda. So if you've all had an opportunity to review the agenda items, there's any items that anyone would like to be pulled, please mention those now.
Actually, Mr. Mayor, I don't really want to pull anything. I just have a question regarding a couple of the reports. So I guess it would be item number 10, Community Engagement and Recreation Department Activity Report. So can I?
Go ahead.
Okay. I was wondering if it would be possible, Carmen, I appreciate all of the reports that everybody puts in, but I would like to hear from the Recreation Department specifically. I would like to hear from Julie and Jessica. It's down on paper and everything, but sometimes it's good to have an oral presentation so that we kind of know what's going on, even though it's written very well and we know what's going on according to your report. But those are the hands-on people, and I'd like to hear from them as well. if it's possible. Just every now and then, like maybe every 3 or 4 months, just so, yeah, quarter might be good. Just because I think it's good for them and it's also good for us to kind of know what's going on, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Perfect. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. That's all I have.
Do I have a motion?
Mr. Mayor, I move that we approve consent agenda as presented.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, moving on, we have the Gonzalez Youth Commissioners. Valerie, Emily, you're up. Oh, Emily's over here. Okay.
Valeria.
Okay.
Hi, everyone, again.
Hi, Emily.
Nothing too much to update on, just that we're continuing our meetings. We recently visited the community center again to choose out our final decisions on chairs. So I was excited about that, but continuing our meetings, presentations, everything's wrapping up this year, and I'm just excited to see what we conclude with. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to oral communications from council boards and committees. I'm first up, League of Cities, Monterey chapter, nothing to report. I do want to say though that I did attend the Mayor Select Committee and we had quite an exciting meeting. I've never really attended quite a meeting like that. We had speakers both for and against, and obviously the contention was Mayor Velasquez asking that she be placed on LAFCO versus Dennis Donahue. We took 2 votes. They both ended up in favor of Mr. Donahue. The final vote was 8-5 with the 3 South County cities and Salinas together. Seaside, Delray Oaks, Sand City. No, missing one. Oh, believe it or not, Carmel. And the rest were for Ms. Caballero, or excuse me, Mr. Velasquez. Oh, I'm getting tongue tied here. Yes, they're both on us, I think. Anyway. So that was a rather long meeting. I didn't even get a chance to grab lunch. It was that long.
Oh.
Yeah, but we got it done. And so Mr. Donahue will represent on LAFCO for the next 2 years. And then, you know, if Ms. Velasquez still wishes to be on there, I'll certainly support her nomination. All right.
So just a quick question. It used to be rotated. The South County
Representation.
person used to be rotated with Selena. So I'm not sure if that's changed, but every 2 years it would rotate. So South County would have the voting opportunity to vote, and then Salinas would be the alternate, and then it would rotate back to Salinas being the alternate, and then the South County rep would be the voting representative. So
Ms.
not sure if
Orozco,
it's
since I've had
changed.
very limited time on the,
Yeah.
as a mayor, I was under the impression, at least I understood from the rest of the board, that it's a 4-year term.
Hmm.
And so, the
Interesting.
request from Mayor Anna from Soledad was because Mayor Craig decided not to run, so she felt
I
as the
see.
alternative that she should be that person.
Hmm.
And the majority felt that it wasn't based on a person, but on a city. And
City.
at this point, City of Salinas had it for the next 2 years,
Mhm.
and the
Yep.
majority
Hmm.
voted that they should continue with it.
Very good.
My feeling is, you know, I represent a community of 8,000 people. Yes, the majority are Latino but I would venture to say that Mayor Donahue probably in one small part, the east side probably has got 4 times the Latino vote that I will ever hope to have here, which is fine. And so I've known Dennis for a rather long time, and I feel that he is just and fair, and I think he'll represent South County in that manner as well. So that's what I had my vote for. All righty, moving on. AMBAG.
MBAG, yeah, we did have our first meeting of the year, mostly introductions of a new representation from the county as well as a number of the cities. Nothing major out of the meeting. Most of the meeting was informational, et cetera, for, new folks and whatnot, and laying out, work for the remainder of the year. So upcoming meetings should be more constructive. I know they're working on various, population plans, et cetera, and so forth that we'll be seeing over the near months. So.
Great, thank you. MST.
Okay, one thing that came in the mail to all of us, and I hope you all have an opportunity to look this over. It's very well done and quite beautiful and multicolored, and it's the end of the year report for MST. Probably the most important thing is MST has come up with a new award, and it's called the Road AO Awards, ROADEO Awards. Mike Labar was awarded with the 2025 Board of Directors Rodeo Trophy for not knocking down any cones when he drove the MST bus. Lorraine Worthy, on the other hand, received the Orange Crush Award for participation in the second annual bus driving training. So I knocked down a lot. And what they gave me was a bottle of Orange Crush, which I thought was hilarious. So from what I understand, Mike Labar knocked down the most last year and he knocked none this year. So I aspire to do that well next year.
Bar is set.
So, it was pretty funny. We had a good time with that. We did appoint, we approved 2 new members on Measure Q Oversight Committee, which is actually Anna Velasquez and Dan Albert from Monterey, who used to be the mayor of Monterey and actually sat on MST. We also gave a new contract. We've been working with MV Transit for years as our backup for MST. And we actually have a new company, and they've been working with MV for about 20 years. So this was really interesting to me that they decided to go with Trans Dev Services, which is out of Santa Cruz area, San Benito County. So they're going to be, we went into a contract for a 5-year contract with them. Gonzalez will be happy to hear that Greenfield is still working on their MST circulators. So we're in good shape here in town. And we will have hopefully some data back in probably April, because what they're going to do is they're going to track from January to March to let us know how the circulator is going here in town. And then let's see, what else do I have? I think that's pretty much it. We had a pretty quick meeting. We have a lot of contract things coming in, and we have a lot of closed session items that I can't talk about yet, but I will shortly. And our next meeting is scheduled for March 10th. And that's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
All right, oral communications. Any preference of who starts? Okay, Lorraine? You don't have any, that's right.
I am quiet again this one, probably better.
Liz?
So I guess the moral of your story from the MST is ride with Mike Labar and not Lorraine. Just saying. No, I just wanted to mention that this week is National FFA Week. So when you see an FFA student out there probably feeding their animals in the bad weather, any weather, right behind the stadium, give them an attaboy or an attagirl, because they work very hard for all their projects. And I know when I was in high school, we used to end the week with a barn dance, and the sweetheart was crowned. So I don't think they carry those traditions, but it brings back fond memories for me. And speaking of fond memories, Gonzalez High alumni will be holding a multi-class reunion on September 6th. It will be for anyone graduating between 1972 and 1978. This is actually the 50th reunion for the class of 75. And that particular football team that played football in the fall of 74 will be honored this year at the Salinas Valley Sports Hall of Fame. I think sometime in August. I don't know the date yet, but my brother was part of that team. So I'm very proud of those young men. And that's all I have.
When is the actual for the reunion?
September 6th. And that'll be at the Elks. So For more information, people can call me and I can direct them to the website.
It's scary to think, but I am 2 years away from 50 years myself, so it's how time flies when you're having fun. Mr. Funk,
Nothing additional this evening. Thank you.
so let's go.
Yes, I just want to thank staff, Carmen and Chief, for attending the Know Your Rights meeting that was held on the 7th of February. Chief, thank you for your comments. I've had really good feedback from the community, who really felt that you were very supportive of all of our residents. And I also want to thank Officer Perez, who translated for you. It was well attended, and folks really had an opportunity to get a lot of their questions answered, and had a lot of one-to-one questions that they were able to get answers to by you, Chief, and Officer Perez. I want to thank Dr. Adame and his staff for the facilities. And this Friday from 5:30 to 7, there will be a meet and greet for folks to meet Dr. Adame. He's the new superintendent of the school district. I also attended the Public Works Association, and Patrick, you can correct me on the right name of the association dinner, where we did receive an award, and I'm sure Patrick can talk a little bit more about that. And also one of our interns received a scholarship. I believe it was a $3,000 scholarship.
$3,500.
So that was really great. Was able to see a lot of some of my old coworkers who've actually retired from the city of Salinas. I also want to thank the Gonzalez Interact. They're not here, but the Interact students, they did a cleanup job on Belden Street. So they did a really good job this last Saturday. So I wanted to give them a thank you and appreciate all the work that they're doing. And that is all I have. And I know that we've talked about code enforcement and continue to get those comments about, people parking on the red zones and the RVs parked on the lawns and et cetera, et cetera. So I'm hoping that at our workshop on Saturday, we can at least address or at least have a conversation on some of those ongoing issues. That's all I have. The one on, oh, good, good. Thank you. That's it.
Well, I had some comments, but I think I'm gonna bite my tongue and hold off on those comments until it's necessary. I have nothing else to say other than I am so grateful and thankful for all the diligent work the staff has been doing on getting that development agreement complete. I can kind of see a little light, and that's no pun intended. But I'm hoping it gets brighter and clearer as the months go by, and that sooner rather than later, we're standing in front of LAFCO, presenting them our rationale for our small expansion. We're long overdue. And so I thank staff, everyone involved with that. I know it's tedious. I can't even begin to fathom how much piles of paperwork you guys all had to go through, and environmental reports, et cetera, et cetera. It never ends. But again, thank you to everyone that's been involved with this project, and let's keep pushing forward. City managers report.
Yes, so that was one of my updates, and it was thousands of documents. Was the DA, and then the final list of conditions of approval that we were kind of just finalizing, and glad to report that it has been noticed. So the notice will go out in papers to print tomorrow. Tomorrow's Wednesday? Tomorrow. And we have set the March 10th date in front of the Planning Commission to present the project. Once they consider it, if they decide to approve, it comes before you guys for consideration. So we are well on our way, and I too want to thank all the staff and our legal support. Actually, everybody, it's been a really all hands on deck approach where we're meeting 3-4 times a week around it, and also Pembroke's team to, the efforts that they put to get here too. So anyway, look forward to more to come on that shortly. Also just make sure you've got this Saturday, the 22nd on your calendars, 9 to 12. We'll have a State of the City strategic planning session to go over various items. We also just hired our new community development technician. So we will bring her in to introduce her to all you at the next meeting. We're very happy to have her here. She was ill last week when she was supposed to start like everybody else, got this flu that's going around, but she was in today. Today's her first day. So we are very excited to have another team member supporting the community development department. Yeah, we don't scare her away with all these new projects we've got on the horizon. And we will be having, or we do have one planning commissioner opening. We expect others coming forth, but we are recruiting. If you know of anybody that may be interested, please have them contact the city or Tavin directly. We're focused on one, and then others will shortly come after that. So that's all I have.
Anyone else with any comments?
Actually, that was all I had. But I do want to just let you know that when you adopted the ADU ordinance years ago, you put a sunset clause on the exemption for impact fees. But it doesn't apply to every unit. It applies to the units that are 750 square foot and larger up to 1,200. The custom units those will, on March 1st, if you get new applications, those will have to pay the same impact fee as a single family residence or if it's on a multifamily property. But our pre-designed ADUs come in at $749 and less. And so those people can still take advantage of the hard work we did with getting the architecture approved, but also not have impact fees if they're putting an ADU in the backyard. But on the backside of that, I'm really thrilled, so thrilled about the Vista Lucia plan because we just need new roofs. And I really don't think ADUs are the solution to everything. Everybody losing their backyard and putting all the cars on the street. Yeah. So we'll come in mass on the Vista Lucia plan, I'm sure. We'll maybe even rent a bus to go to LAFCO, right? Yeah, did you say the PC commissioner vacancy? Okay, that's
I know we lost that commissioner because he was fortunate enough to purchase a home in Salinas, so changed his mailing address, so unfortunately we lost him. Huh? Mr. Maceda. All right, do I have a motion for adjournment?
So moved.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Stand adjourned. Please turn off